I don't want anyone telling me what to do. That's my strategy.
Yeah.
And I've created all this stuff around it. And so in order for not to have people, not tell me what to do and be able to make my own decisions, I needed to get some level of success. And, lots of people talk about FU money. You can do whatever you want. Nobody can cancel you.
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
But I don't, I think more important to me, and what I'm calling it is leave me alone money, LMA. And I think LMA is more powerful than FU money. And I'm going to share why here. And one of it's just enough money to do what you want, create really interesting businesses that, experiments and see, work with great people and be able to, at the same time, build this great life for your family because you've got enough. You're still hungry, right?
Yes.
Because the opposite is you get a ton of cash, it can create this crisis of complacency.
Yeah. No, we talked about. Yeah, well, I said that a couple of weeks ago. How do I put the chip back on my shoulder?
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not so much that you think, okay, this is it. I've achieved it. I'm at the end of the journey, which is a big, big mistake in my opinion.
I was thinking. We talked on Wednesday about that friend of mine that kind of retired and then started having this hearing issues and that sort of thing. I was thinking about other people like that. Steve Jobs, he retired and then, his health went downhill, and his health was going downhill already. So that might not be a great example of this. But
it's such a common.
But it's a common thing. I was thinking about the drummer from Rush, Neil Peart. He worked really hard. He always enjoyed playing. He didn't enjoy touring. Finally was able to retire from touring and doing all of that. And he had been through a ton in his life. He had lost his family early on. He built up a new family, retires. Within a year after retiring from, playing drums in Rush, he found out he had a brain tumor.
Yeah,
and it's
tough.
I
don't never want to stop.
Retirement scares me too.
Yeah, retirement sounds horrific.
Yeah.
But being able to choose what you do, that's where the power lies. And so this concept of, leave me alone money, it allowed me to do things like when I had a business that didn't need me anymore, I could take less money out of that business and hire somebody else maybe to replace me. Or when, which also happened a lot when I got bored, I could say, okay, I want to go do something else. And I wasn't so dependent on that resource, you know what I mean? So I could dip back down a little bit and then I could go experiment. And so all of these decisions that I've made, the planning, I really think have all been built around this concept of leave me alone money. I don't want to answer to anybody. And I think that it's just something to think about. And I did a post on X about it because it's helped me to fine tune what am I really doing and why am I making all these decisions and taking these risks. And I think that's it. I want to do what I want. I want to be challenged. I want to know that I've got enough to take care of my family, build the life I want, buy assets that exponentially increase in value and have depreciation that helps you, again, further this leave me alone concept. And, lots of people talk about the FIRE concept, right? And, saving money early and then retiring. And that sounds kind of miserable to me too. I get the living below your means and saving money, but I hate budgets. They suck. I want to earn more money. My answer has always been,
just earn more.
Yeah, let's not do the budget. I don't like balancing my checkbook. Let's just make more money, and then we'll figure it out. So, I'm interested to see if anybody else has this, idea of, this leave me alone concept, or is everybody really chasing this FU money, which maybe is a much higher dollar amount? I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't find myself chasing the FU money thing. You and I are very similar in the fact that our default path to solving a problem is, well, just make more money.
Make more
Like,
money.
we'll just that's easy. And I feel I feel good when I am being successful at solving problems that way.
Yeah.
It's solving them by reducing spending and all that stuff. That makes me sad.
Me too. Very sad.
It really, and like to the point where I need to be careful about this because I'm very fortunate that I don't suffer any sort of chronic depression. I've had a little bit of chronic anxiety, but not to the degree that it's even worth saying something about on the show. I talked to my therapist about that, but it's totally manageable. But I find myself sad and I get depressed when I have to like make cuts and do things like that. It's like, no, let's just make more money.
Yeah, that's the abundant framework, right? It's like, there's more out there. How do I get a piece of it and it enriches everybody that's around me?
Yeah,
hopefully.
how do I right? It's not about me.
No,
it's about like let's just make the business more more flush with fuel, which is business is cash, and then we can sort of relax and enjoy the things.
Yeah, and if that business can't scale, well, let's go start another one. Let's go do something different and find a way to make it, or do a side hustle. I mean, I've owned 10 companies like you have, and I still have side hustles along the way.
I kind of feel like every one of my businesses is a side hustle.
Oh, that's an episode right there.
Bingo.
That's interesting. Every business is a side hustle. I love it.
Every one of mine is. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next week. I think
that's great. Yeah. So
I'll explain what I mean by that next week.
Yeah, that's a good topic. But I mean, if you're listening, help me refine this leave me alone money. What are the pieces of it that need to come together to where you don't have to answer to someone else?
Yeah.
That you can make those decisions. What is it? Is it a dollar amount? Is it the way, or is it a cash flow amount that's more important? That may be it, right? And so you're going to hear more about this LMA money over time as I develop this concept, because I think there's a lot to it, and I like to think about what's the driving force behind these decisions.